Hi everybody, today we are going to make this design on this pebble stone, or you can say this is a candle holder. So we are going to make this design on this. So this will be a combination of this is basically an incense stick holder. So I'm still finishing this, but will be a combination of incense stick holder and candle holder. So if you want to take a close look, so this will look similar to this, of course with different color combinations, and the finished pair is it looks like this. So this has different color combination, and so here this one we are using green and orange, and this is the design that I intend to apply on this. So let's get started. I have actually casted from this mold. This is Happy Dotting Company mold, and this is using white cement and water, and I'm just following the guidelines of the proportion of cement and water. So you can look the proportion up on Google, and there's nothing fancy about it. You can just make it very easily, and I'm using ultra cal cement, white cement. So this is what comes out. Of course I have painted it in black and gesso, but this comes out very cementy color, and then I painted with black. And now I'm going to start my dotting on this. So for today, the color combination according to this, the one that I was just showing, I'm going to be using the Liquitex Basics acrylic color and the orange color. This is called cadmium red light hue, and this is green, which is light green permanent. Yeah, this is again the same company, Liquitex. I'm using these because they hold really well. You know, the dots that you create the dots, especially on this candle holder. You see this edge, the surface is curved surface, so your color cannot be too runny, especially with Deco Art Americana. Deco Art Americana, this brand, this is good for flat surfaces, but when you're dotting on curved surface, you need something that will hold the dots on the curved surface so that it does not run down, and that's the reason I'm using this. So I will start with basic orange, and again, if this feels a little thick for your consistency, I would suggest that you mix little bit of pouring medium. So I'm going to use this pouring medium. This is the pouring medium that I'm using, Deco Art pouring medium. So I'm going to mix a little bit of pouring medium. So if you look at this design, so this starts with white smaller dots on the towards the inner circle, and then it grows bigger. So I'm going to follow similar pattern, but I'm skipping the white. I may do a second top layer of another light color, but I just want the orange color to show really nicely, so that's the reason I'm skipping white. So let's start. I used a 3mm fixed dotting tool for my other pebble stone. So here we go. Just make sure your dots are uniformly spaced from each other and they're barely touching each other. They should not touch too much. In that case, you will see they are running between each other. so we don't want that. So this is how it looks like when the inner rim is done. Now we are going to start with the second rim. We'll make sure we are going to use the same 3 mm dotting stick, dotting dowel. So we will make sure that the second line of the dots are very close to the first one, and this dot lies exactly in center of the 2 dots of the inner circle. And this line of dots is a little bigger than the inner circle of dots. Just go really slow and make sure that you're not touching any of the previous dots, but just close enough so that there is very little amount of the base color showing in between the dots. This is how it'll look like. So after we are done with the second line of dots, I'm going to start with the third line of dots, and again the same principles follow here as well. Make sure that this line of dots is just close to the second line of dots, and these dots are a little teeny bit bigger than the previous row, but make sure they're not touching each other. This is how they're looking. So this is what it looks like after we've done 3 rows of dots. And the idea is let these dots dry up completely, and we are going to add with the finest of the stylus. I don't know if you can see. This is the finest of the stylus that I have. And so with this, we are going to do teeny dots in between the circles, in between the dots, the bigger dots, so that it just looks very neatly tied like this. So if you look closely, you'll see these golden teeny golden dots. So they lie exactly in between the spaces. So that's the idea. So we're going to do that after this row, these 3 rows get dried up. So I'm going to continue for probably 2 more rows of orange, just like this. So this is how it looks like when all the layers are done. So if you want to take a close-up like this. So all the 5 dots, line of dots are done. And now we are going to start, and if you see, these dots are kind of like raised like a little bit, so they're not completely flat, so they will dry also raised. And that's the idea behind using this Liquitex color, Liquitex brand, is because it'll just hold the dots really nicely, and you don't need this on a flat surface. Okay, so now we are going to do something like this. So if you look at this design, okay, if you look at this one, if you can see, yeah, so if you can look at this design, you know, these are there is a gradient of orange, so we're going to create that gradient of orange. We're going to mix white with orange, and we're going to make this gradient. So I'm going to use a 7 mm dotting stick and mark so this is the kind of size that we get from a 7 mm. So I've taken a little bit of orange and a little bit of white, and I'm mixing a very teeny bit of yellow just to get a warmer shade when we mix. And this will be the inner layer, inner line of the dots that we surround our big orange dot with. So I'm trying to replicate the same shades. I actually should have saved these colors while I was making the incense stick holder, but which I did not. That is my mistake. I should have done that. Anyways, I think this is a good consistency, because also we have to be careful. It should not be runny at all. It should be on the thicker side so that it can stay on the curved edge. And I'm going to use the tiniest of the stylus that I have. Yeah, this is a tiniest of the stylus. I don't know what size this is, so you can, okay, there it is. Okay, so let me switch it to top. Okay, so I'm going to draw like dot one big in the center and then walk my dots all the way till the end of it. Same on the other side as well. I'm making sure that my dots are very closely lined up with each other. There is not much of a gap. And I am going to do another line of dots. This one, again, the same principle. This line of dots is supposed to be a little bigger than the first line of dots, and this again should be very close to the first line of dots, but not touching any of the dots. So making sure that they stand by themselves. And I think my paint consistency is just right. They're not runny at all. This is how it looks, the first line of dots. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you one secret tip, and I did a mistake. I did not draw the guidelines and I just started because I thought I would not need them. But yes, now that I realize, so what I've done is I'm keeping this candle holder on the stencil sheet. I think this is again Happy Dotting Company silicone sheet, and I'm going to be lining up this dot that I drew, this one that I drew on one of the, the 90-degree downward, and I'm going to be marking the same 90-degree right across so that I get that point there. Okay, and then I'm looking at this design. This has 4 and 4, so basically we will be drawing 90-degree here, again 90-degree here, and then 90-degree here. So I'm just marking the points. We don't need to do anything more than that. And then halfway through of this will be this, and then I'm just trying to look if it is this and this. So this you can do. This is definitely doable. If you happen to miss out on drawing the guidelines, So make sure that your paint is a little dry, and this is definitely you know, you can work on this. This is how I drew the guidelines. So I'm going to be placing the same dot and you know, the same pattern on each of these, or I'll have to look, no, not on each of these. So I'm going to be doing this on 4, and then I'm going to be interlacing the greens on the other ones. Okay, so this, and then this, there's another going to be there's another orange here, and then there'll be another orange here, and then another orange here. Okay, so that's how it'll look like just in a bit. So this is how it looks like when I have completed all the 4 dots that I wanted to do on the orange. And now I'm going to add more orange to get the other dots, outline dots done. Okay, now looking at this design again, so this is what we are trying to replicate. This is what we are trying to replicate. So now I got my color all done, mixed up, ready to go. I'm going to use a little thicker stylus this time, and this is the orange that I'm using. And this time the consistency is a little more thicker than the last time, because the surface is pretty curved, so I have to make sure that the paint does not run down. So what I'm doing is I'm basically marking the center first, center dot first, and then the 2 sides right after each other. So just watch one more time. So I'm doing the center dot first, okay, and then I'm marking dots on both the sides right after each other, so that there's consistency in the size of the dots. Okay, so you do right one first and then left one, or whichever way, but then make sure you're doing this for the initial few dots, and then you can walk the dots. So this is how it looks like when I have completed the second layer of in fact, 4th layer of the second color. And now I'm going to go on for full-on orange, and that's how the gradient is created easily. You can also create gradient for every line of dot that you're doing, but this is just for an easy demonstration. I wanted to do this. So I'll come back with my 3rd gradient when I've completed my final orange layer right here. Okay, so this is what it looks like when I have completed one more layer of orange. You can see. You just have to be very careful handling this, because every time you're going to hold and turn, you may smudge with your finger, and just have to be very careful. And this is what it is. Now we're going to do basics of the green design that we are thinking to do. So this is the design. So I have used just one shade of green. For the green, I'm taking a 4mm dotting tool and doing the center golden spot here. So this is how it looks like when we are done with our green basic little dots. Okay, you just have to be very, very careful holding it, because you may accidentally just smudge the orange which is not yet dry, or just let it dry for some time so that you don't smudge. You just have to be very, very careful. Okay, so I'm done with the third line of the green dot, so I'm just drawing some outline like this. Okay, so I have done some rough outline of the green, of the golden swoosh that I'm going to do. So let me do the golden swoosh here. You can also use a golden pen if you want. This is how it will look like. So I wanted to show you how this is looking now after it has dried up a little bit, and these are the green swooshes, and this is the dot pattern that we did. So you can look at the shine, and you know, I'm just loving it. Okay, so let's get going with the next steps, and what we're going to do is we're going to make this, you know, these spiky swooshes around the main swoosh. So let's get going. So we're going to do the tiny swooshes around this main swoosh. So let's start. I have prepared my mix of green and white, and so what I'm doing is I'm keeping very steady dot and then dragging it along the line. You just drag it one time, you do not go over it again, and that is the secret of getting the swooshes really right in the first go. If you go over it multiple times, then you're not going to get a tapered, you see how the end is tapered, so you will not get that tapered end if you are going over it multiple times. So this is how it looks. This is a little lighter shade of the green, but that's okay. We can definitely, you know, enjoy a different shade of green here. And I'm going to finish for all the greens, and I'm going to come back. So this is how it looks once I have done all the green swooshes. Now I'm going to layer it up with, so this is how it'll look up close as well. Okay, so I'm going to layer it up with the golden, so there's also golden swoosh in between the greens. So if you look at that closely, yes. So the same way I'm going to do the golden swoosh. So now what I'm going to do is, I have my golden paint pot ready. Use the tiniest of the stylus. I hope this focuses. Yes, this is the tiniest of the stylus, the dotting tool. So load it very lightly here. Okay, and so go the other way around. Okay, let me switch it up. Okay, so just go the other way around. These swooshes need to be Yeah, like that. Okay. You'll have to just be careful. See, I've already smudged some of my paints, the green paints that was already not dried up. So I'm going to use some wet. Okay, that's the only one that has smudged up. Okay, so I'm going to use some wet earbuds and I'm going to fix it up and come back. Okay, so just a trick that I wanted to share with you all. Sometimes, you know, you smudge paints with your hands, your fingers, and then those fingers go and sit on another portion of your artwork, and you cannot do anything about it. You discover it after some time. So what I recommend generally is just go over and, you know, paint them with black. You just simply can't much help other than that. Also, sometimes the pencil guidelines may not go away. So this is one thing that I generally do to get even blackness all throughout. So okay, this is all about it. This is almost going to get ready in some more time. I'll just let it sit for some more time, and I hope you liked the tutorial today. And do let me know in the comment section what you want me to bring up next. And I have a few projects lined up, and I'm definitely going to be bringing those very soon. And I'm going to be finishing this with, you know, golden bits in between, and I'll share that picture at the end of the video. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Do let me know in the comment section. Please subscribe, and it definitely helps this very brand new baby channel to grow. And I'll see you soon in my next video. Bye bye.